All right, guys, here we are again, another truck side chat. Kind of like doing these things. It gives me something to do while I'm on my way to my properties, So that's what we're doing today. I got some new ground. I just want to do a little scouting report, and there's one property I wanted to hit the door on because I really want permission for that. But the other thing I kind of wanted to talk about, oh yeah, I have my bloodhound tracker here today. Say hi, G.
Hi, G.
Good one. So we're gonna look for some signs today, right? We're gonna go out and do some scouting because that's one thing I've learned from talking with guys who are really good at hunting anything, but really good at predators, right? Foxes, coyotes especially. The secret is effort, just like anything else. It's effort. It's scouting. It's getting permission. It's playing the wind, watching the weather. It's all these things, right? There's no secret magic, sound that you play and every coyote in the county comes running, right? It's just like going after that big trophy buck. You got to put in the work, right, and figure that thing out. So that's what we're doing today. We're just going out there and kind of seeing what's around. Now, we got a light snow last night. It's warmed up. It's about 40 degrees, right? So we got a little melt on, but there should be some fresh tracks out there, that we can see in the snow. So that's what we're doing, and we'll just kind of take you guys along for that a little bit. All right, so we're in the woods here at this new property. I have no idea about this place yet, so we're taking a first look at it. Freaking woods is full of turkey tracks, so I'll be back here in the spring. Full of deer tracks too. We have seen some fox tracks, but honestly, it's so warm this morning, even though we have a bunch of wind, we're freezing. The tracks all look super old, so, but I'm gonna turn the camera around here. Here's a look, here's kind of a lay of the land look. We got some brush fields up here, some little brush lots here, and we border all the way, there's a river down here at the bottom of that hill. And then it looks like we have a little backwater down in here, so me and G are going to go check that out, see if we can find some signs of some raccoons. But there is a nice line of tracks out here in the middle. We're going to check them out real quick. See what we got going on here. There might be some groundhogs in this field, G. Yeah, look at these. These are dog tracks right here. And these are fresh too. That's from last night. I'm going to say, they look too small for a freaking coyote, so I'm betting this is a red fox. You can see the lines going up through the snow there. There's a good spot, yep. This would be a good place to put down a stand, put down a call here. Anyways, let's just see where this guy's going. Looks like there's more than one of them in here. You can see there's little trails going all the way over here, down this way. They're all over the place in here. Down here too, look at those ones down there, G. See the fresh ones down there? They were just in here last night. All right, we'll see how good you are. What kind of track do you think this is?
Deer.
Deer? What makes you say deer?
Because look.
Oh, look what? Explain.
See? It's like the hooves and everything.
The 2 points, that's right. 2 points. Good job. So, one thing that it kind of makes sense, right? You don't have to be a freaking rocket scientist to figure out where the critters are living here. Anywhere, we use rabbit distress, right? Anywhere that people hunt rabbits or looks like a really good spot for rabbits, it's probably going to work real well for fox and coyote, right? This property is interesting in that, hey, watch, that's a woodchuck hole. The one thing about this property that makes it interesting is it's got I think this is soybean or something. I don't know. It looks like the dirt's been turned in this field. What? I don't know, hon. I don't know what that is. Anyways, looks like the soil's been turned up here on the top. Down on the bottom's all cut corn. There's a river there and a backwater pond. This place has got it all. This might be a magical place here. I don't know. I already saw a bunch of tracks, so we'll see. Anyways, look for rabbits. That's what I'm doing. I'm looking for places where, look at this stuff. There's brush everywhere. It's crazy. Tear your clothes off, you try to go through there. That's perfect. Thick stuff. Anyways, That's what we're doing. That's where we're at. All right. All right, so down in the lower bottom of this thing right now, finding a ton of good sign. I think this is going to be a fun spot to hunt. Wind's got to cooperate a little bit though. The wind is not in a great direction for how you get in and out of here. But one thing that this little hike reminded me of, and it might make this video less, corny, is I use, well, there's a couple apps on the phone that can be very valuable in tracking, kind of documenting, your approach, property lines, help you with wind, weather, moon, all these different things. I use the Hunt Stand app, and maybe I'll do a little clip on that. So once we get out of here, let's go get some grub. I'm hungry.
Yes. Ramen noodles.
Is that what's on the menu? All right.
I want to.
I'll do a little review on that when I get back to the house here and kind of go through how I use that app. It's really powerful to use that thing. The only other thing, guys, I'm working on.
Oh, Dad.
What do you got?
What do you think these are?
Yeah, that is pretty big. That might be a black bear.
I'll look it up in the chat.
Anyways, I'm saving my pennies for a night vision scope and a thermal scanner. Okay, and it's not that it's the wave of the future or any of that. It's just I'm interested in it. It's something I want to do. But what the other thing that makes me very interested in having that capability is the ability to record. Some of these guys, some of my friends have this stuff, and their videos are just, it's so fun to watch that. So hopefully next year I can get into the night vision game, because Pennsylvania just opened that up for us to use on predators only. So maybe next year. But anyways, we're gonna get out of here. I'm rambling. We'll get home and we'll do a little Hunt Stand app comparison and review. All right, thanks. All right, guys, I'm going to do a quick kind of review of the Hunt Stand app here for you. Now, there's a couple different apps that do very similar things. Hunt Stand being one of them, OnX Hunt, HuntWise, I think Base Maps is the other one that people are starting to talk about a little bit. And honestly, they're all a little bit different, but they pretty much do all the same job, all right? And to me, it's kind of like Android versus Apple. Whichever one you kind of grow up with or you learn on is the one you prefer. And for me, that was Hunt Stand. So, this one has, so Hunt Stand has a free version. And you get basically the map editor and the hunt zone, which I'll go over both of those maps. You also get the weather part, there's a bunch of tiles up here, right? The moon, all that stuff. I don't think you get offline maps. And then you get 10 properties per month. Okay, so you can select properties from the map, and it gives you the information for those properties. You can do that 10 times a month. Now, I opted to upgrade this thing for $25 a year. I can get all 50 states, all the property info. It's very, very valuable, right? That's great. That has been great. This app is excellent for that. OnX Hunt, I think, is $100 a year for the same thing. But anyways, let's get into this one. So let's check on the map editor tile here. So it's basically, and I'm just randomly selecting some. This is Allegheny National Forest in Pennsylvania, because the last thing I need is some sharing my spots on the interwebs and have a bunch of guys come in here and snake them off me. So we're gonna go in some random spot here just to check the function of the app. So it does use GPS. So I mean, the top, you see on the right hand side, you have all these buttons, right? If you hit your locator button, the very top one, it'll take you right to where your phone's at. Right? You can search some properties. You got a search feature. I'm going to use this measurement tool here first. So you pop this guy open, and really what I'm going to do is pop that open, grab this guy. It gives you this crosshair, and you can basically measure things here. So what we'll do is I'll just measure from this this building here, the plus sign, to this feature right there, right? And what that does is that strikes a line, and then it gives you your yardage down here. So that's 229 yards, right? And this is pretty close. It's pretty close. This is basically does the same thing as like your golf app on your phone. So it's within one to 2 yards, kind of accurate, and you can zoom like way in and get it really, kind of, as perfect as you want it. Let's put it that way. So that's that feature. That's kind of nice. I do use that a little bit. The other thing you can do is you can drop pins with notes, right? You can trace areas, like chase shapes. You can make features with line tool. You can do whatever, but I'm going to drop a pin here. And what you get is you just drop this new marker, and then you can basically call it whatever you want, right? So what type is it? And it has this whole list of like canned, I guess, pins that you can use, tracks, feather, for turkey, for deer, and it's just got some like, other, right, trap, stuff like that. It's actually really pretty useful. I mean, some of the stuff isn't in here. You just put the custom on here, right, and you call it whatever you want, right? Oh man, I tried to spell test. I got fat fingers. Test. There we go. And again, test, whatever. Yes. Test. T. Yes. T. Fat fingers. All right. Save that. Now it's on the map, right? Forever. Save that thing, right? And you want to refer, what's that marker mean? You just click on the thing, right? And it opens it up. Tells you your notes. Pretty handy. I mean, if you see something like a huge scrape or a big buck rub line or something like that, and you want to call that feature out that year, this type of stuff comes in handy, right? It really comes in handy when you start using the wind and all this other stuff, these other tools that this thing has to kind of help you set up your hunt, right, based on locations of things. So the next thing here is this trace feature, which I'm not going to use. What this basically does is it tracks you. You would go out in the woods, you would start your trace, and just keep it as is. Start your trace, and then you would hike, and it would map your route, tell you how far you went. You can call out features, and you get like a really precise kind of record of where you went and any notes you took along the way. It's kind of nice. But now we're starting to get into like the real deal here. So the next button down is this wind directional indicator, right? So here we are on our little property here in Allegheny National Forest. So all you do is click on the map, and it drops this bullseye in here. And it gives you a 100-yard ring, okay? And you can change that to 200 yard, 300 yard, whatever you want, I believe. So the important part about this is it gives you direction, it gives you some distance, right? So in other words, if you pick a spot, like if I wanted to say, I'm going to hunt right where I put this, right where I drop this marker, put this guy in here, and then you get sort of a sense from the map of some yardages. So when you actually go there, you can remember the features from the map and kind of have a sense of the yardage. So the really good thing here is the graph at the bottom. If you click on the graph here, let's just open that up. It basically opens up a slider with the hours of the day. And as you move the slider, right, you can see how the wind direction changes. Now it is not perfect. You see it gets a little bit fishtaily, whippy right there. The wind's going to switch direction big time from 7 to 8, okay? It's pretty close, okay? It's not perfect. It's not always perfect. I mean, you're still going to have to get out of the truck and feel which way the wind's blowing with your face. You know what I mean? It's just the way it's going to be. But it's pretty close, right? So you might have to make some minor adjustments. But one thing I will say is this will tell you if if you can go to a spot tonight versus not go there, right? Based on the wind. So it's pretty good, pretty good. Close that guy out. You get a weather, your daily weather here. So that's the next kind of button down. You get your current weather, and this is really good, especially when you're doing like precision reloads, right? And you want to set up like your Strelok app or your Hornady ballistic calculator. You get your pressure and your, your temperature, obviously, your height off of sea level, things like that. So you get the first kind of tab here is just your current weather, wind direction, all that stuff. Then you get, a 72-hour forecast here, and this is hour by hour. which is kind of handy. I like this. This is nice, right? Kind of lets you see it, see all the information in kind of a cartoon, you know, just a kind of an outline format. The next one is the graph. This one I'm finding to be more and more valuable as I hunt predators, right? Because I'm always battling the moon, always. I can deal with the cold and I can deal with the wind, but the moon makes things tough, especially with snow on the ground. You stick out like a sore thumb. So I'm always looking for this cloud cover here. And again, you have your temperature, wind, your chance of precipitation, your cloud cover is what's shown in these graphs here, and then you get a slider, so you can move this around, right? So like tonight, it's going to be pretty cloudy at right around midnight, you know, and then you can check your wind speed. How's that line up with your wind and all this other stuff? So temperature is going to be fairly warm tonight, right? So this is the kind of stuff that really becomes kind of handy when you're trying to plan a hunt, right? Now, obviously, if you're hunting local places and you go to a place or you hunt a place enough times, you kind of don't need this app at all right? But when you're scouting or you're planning a trip, right, you're going to go somewhere and hunt. This thing is kind of handy. Of course, you get your generic 5-day forecast. Now, this weather is just as good as your weather that you get off your TV. So that's that. The moon feature is another one that's the last button on this screen here, right? You can see we're in full moon territory. So this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm battling, right? These big moons like this are tough, make it tough to hunt at night. Pretty simple stuff, right? Tells you when sun or moon rise is, when it's overhead, stuff like that. So you can plan your hunt, and I've used this before to say, well, between these hours, right before moonrise or before it's overhead, right, I've got a window of opportunity and kind of go out and do some things. So that's pretty much that. Now, there's a lot of, let's go back to home here. Okay, go back to the home tile. Now, there's a lot of redundancy in this thing, okay? So the map editor, the hunt zone is just for wind and pins. Weather, we just saw the weather, we just saw the moon. Offline maps I'll get to at the end. The most valuable thing on this whole app to me is this property info, okay? All right, so here we are on the property info tile. All the green lines are the property lines, and it's actually really good. It's really good. It's so far for me, it's right on the money. So let's just say I want to know some info about this big chunk of ground right here. So I'll select property info on the right-hand side here, and then just click on it. It gives me the outline, shades the thing in, and then it tells me something about it, right? So it tells me who the owner is. It tells me the address of the property, and then it also tells me the address of the person who owns it, which is really valuable, because if you need to go get permission, now you know where to go to talk to the person who owns it, right? And you have the address of the property to talk to them about it, right? So this thing is really valuable to me. I use this all the time. So if I'm interested in this property, here's what I do. I'll just click on add a shape, right? I'll just make this one a boundary, and we'll just make it yellow for the heck of it. Done. So now I've got that guy saved in there. It saves these forever, right? It's on your account. So again, I pay the $25 a month. I've got an account. I switch my phone, or I get on my computer, I log in, all this property info shows up, all my pins, all my notes, everything. So now you can start to stitch together, right? Let's go back over here to property info. You can start to stitch together properties that you have permission to hunt on, properties that are good for, fox, coyote, deer, whatever, right? And build your own map of places you can hunt. Now on my map, I have places that I'm allowed to hunt. I specify by color the owners, right? The other thing is I usually use black, but I black out properties where I've hit the door and they said no, right? So I know I cannot go on that property, all right? But for me and what I'm doing, right, it doesn't get much better than this app. I mean, this app does pretty much everything for me. The only shortfall of this thing that I can tell is this offline maps, okay? So if you don't have satellite, or you don't have internet, right, on your phone, these maps won't show up. But the way around this is basically, you know, and that's kind of the difference between OnX Hunt. It has the offline maps available. Okay. This one does too. You just have to be smart enough to go in there and save the maps you need for places that don't have service. And then they'll be available, you know, kind of offline. So that's pretty much it for this app as far as what I use it for. It has a lot of features. A lot of this stuff, like I said, there's a lot of redundancy in the app, which is okay. But, you know, that's all right. I mean, some people are going to want some of that, you know, some of these other features too that I'm not showing because I don't really use them. I don't know, right? I don't know anything about some of these things. So, but for what I'm trying to do, right, keeping track of properties, taking a peek at the wind, the weather, right, the moon, stuff like that, and being able to just keep notes is really kind of important. Drop pins in places where I see features, things like that. This app is really good for that. So anyways, this is a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, but I hope this helps somebody. Hopefully this app, you know, works for you. And if you use this app or you use one of the other apps and have some info you'd like to share, then leave me something in the comments because I'm always looking to learn. And so anyways, thanks guys.